Members of the public, all of you out there,
Oh, here comes
must
somebody.
be acknowledged by the chair before speaking and state their name for the record.
Hi, Joanne. Oh, crud.
That's one way to keep them out. All right, 6 PM, call the meeting to order, approve/edit the agenda.
Motion to approve is written.
All in favor?
Aye. Benjamin.
549. Okay. I don't think, do we have any appointments? Do we, well, we have Dana, but he's actually on the menu, so to speak. Is there any public comment? Yeah. Yep. Look, people weren't shooting at you.
Thank you for that. Not everyone would do that. Speak now and then speak later.
She's gonna hold her comments until we
Okay.
talk about the parking. All right, review of the town meeting with moderator Dana Kolovec.
Okay, so Lisa Campbell is on, but I think that's it. All right. Waiting for Dana, but. So I don't know where Dana is, but, I had sent him the warning already and he reviewed it. Dana Kolovec is the moderator. So he'd reviewed it with his edits, which were very helpful. And I had Pam go over Article 1 again, just because we have so many select board members running this time. I wanted to make sure I had the terms correct. Article 2 is the budget that you approved last time. So that's how much the expenses are, how much will be raised by taxes, and then the non-tax revenue. So, and that article matches the budget that you pass. There's Dana. And then Articles 3, 4, and 5 are articles asking the voters to use money from the undesignated fund balance and saying that the transfer result in a property tax increases. What's the matter?
Need you guys to sign to the meeting.
I just unlocked it. Sorry, Dana. Yeah. So Article 6 is, when tax payments are due. So I went through the calendar to see, they're not all due on the 15th anymore, just because we don't have them due if we're not going to be open. And then Article 7 is the standard to transact any other non-binding business that may legally become before the meeting. So I talked to Dana and he'll speak, and he did say people could pass a petition, so, and I think they have until the 15th to add, but at this point, we're not aware of anyone passing a petition. I think if they were gonna do that by now, yeah,
Yeah.
but they would have done it, or we'd know about it, because they would have talked to Pam. So worst case scenario, somebody passes a petition, just have to, yeah, we would have to do it next time and sign it again. But at this point, I don't see that happening, because we would know about it. They would have come in to see Pam and, how to get the wording and that sort of thing, so. That's all right, don't worry about it. Not a problem. So you went to one of your trainings, so were there still any more changes or edits that you had for the warning? Oh, good. Excellent. Yeah, so. But you said the 15th, right?
That, yeah,
Okay.
47 days before.
Yeah, that makes sense, but we'd know by now, I think, because Pam, we haven't had anyone approach Pam about it. Somebody did, but they would have they'd need to make a motion to amend and part of the budget, so they couldn't pass a petition, so.
And the expectation is that there will be a discussion about the budget.
Absolutely,
And-
yeah, because it's such a big change, last year we had the library separated, food shelf, Warva, Tri-Valley Transit, those were all and then all the, human services. Now that everything's in the budget, you know, people can make, you know, amendments from the floor. The only thing they can't do is add something in that isn't already there. But, so yeah, I think that that'll be a bigger, you know, discussion.
You have one of those copies with you for us to sign?
I have a copy right here, yep.
If you're looking for those to approve those?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if Dana had anything more to add.
A motion to approve, warning for annual town meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Sign that on page. Do you have anything about the,
Candidate forum that the Resiliency Task Force and I'm sorry, the Town Meeting and Engagement Committee is promoting a designed at this point for the 8th of February, which would be the Monday before your next meeting, or the Monday before.
so March
The-
8th,
No,
February 8th?
February
Okay,
8th. You have a meeting on February 9th.
yep,
And I floated the idea of having that night be a candidate forum, but the movement seems to be to have an event over at the Cockadoodle Pizza with pizzas and an opportunity for anyone running for office to come in and say who they are and what they want to do. And
what time are you doing it, Dana?
afternoon, there'll be more information coming out. We don't have the details yet, but I'll have the
Alright.
details.
Yeah. Denise won't be here, but you'll be able to,
It's gonna be a Sunday,
yeah, the 8th,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
That's all I know so far.
yeah.
And I don't,
I talked to Cindy about.
oh, good,
Yeah, once you get,
dinner out on my end.
yeah,
good.
once you get the details, Dana, there you go. There you go. Once you get the details, you can let us know and we'll,
And you and I had spoken about having,
yeah, and then we'll send out to the select board because it would be Denise, Ben, and Jed. So it's 3 of them this time, so.
and candidates who want to get on the ballot know that they have to do it by the 26th
Yep.
with their petitions.
Yep.
And what else? Yeah, time. I thought it was going to be afternoon and early evening maybe.
Yeah, early evening is what I thought, but
Okay.
it was very loose
Okay,
conversation.
we're still working on
Kind
it.
of about like budget, what budget would need to be and stuff like
Right.
that.
Right. And you and I spoke about the town having a few dollars that could kick in for
Yep.
for the meal.
Yeah, I think I gave you a budget.
Yes.
Okay. Stick to it. That's all there is. Like your mother said, there's no more.
Wanted to mention two other things. One is next Wednesday night, there's a community dinner that the Resiliency Task Force from the food shelf is going to be hosting at the White Church.
Yep, I sent them all the,
Planning Commission is kind of co-promoting it.
nice.
Because the work that's being done right now is generating information about what's happening in with respect to the survey. The other thing I wanted you to all be aware of was the Resiliency Task Force has a survey out there that's generating information that's going to help them develop the strategic plan that they are expecting to have completed in April. And we wanted to make sure that we're talking the same. The effort is how do I want to say this? It's collaborative.
Yeah. Yep, yeah, it was part, it's nice because the link to the invitation, so I sent it out, so maybe some of the select board members will, or all of them will complete it. So I did forward something to Tina Fabiano, PC, so she was out of town, but I sent it to her and what looks like for the PC anyways, we're gonna try to get some they're doing a like municipal climate change pilot program. So I did apply for that and then I let the energy committee know as well. So just be some help, more help for the with the town plan stuff. So
I are meeting tomorrow. I don't know if she's reached out to any of you.
No.
She is conducting interviews with people in the community who are interested in providing input on the 2028 town plan that we're developing that background data for it. So,
Oh, nice.
so I will give, if it, with your permission, I'll give all of your names to her and she will be setting up time in the next few weeks to talk about what your perspectives are, what your desires are for the future of the town as individuals, not necessarily as a full board. And anyone else who's interested. But, okay. And you're leaving Wednesday?
Can people online hear
Um,
Dana okay?
I may not, when I whisper to Joanne, probably not.
No,
Yeah,
so
Yeah,
my
I can
Would it?
hear you fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
thumbs
great.
up by Owen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it was a thumbs up.
No, he was
Thumbs
just-
up that he can hear
Okay.
okay. Because, yeah, we've had some people that can't hear it too well, but Finn has been nice enough to give us a whole new sound system here.
Great.
All right.
Okay.
The warning's all set.
Yep.
Draft is all set.
So to know the review of, we're on the second one, review of year. And-
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, now time for, review the year in review and budget summary for the town report.
So Ben was gracious enough to help me with the budget summary and, so that's something, obviously, you remember that Chris Jarvis used to deliver at the town report. The budget summary is printed in the town report, but then he used to go over it before discussion of the budget. We'll do the same thing this year, except I'll deliver it. But I wasn't sure if anybody had any changes, edits, questions, something. Yeah, I know, but I was stuck at the bottom. I was like, Ben, I think I'm down the rabbit hole and I need help.
Well,
So,
the only thing I was thinking is one of our last meetings, we discussed, that this year's budget, might be up, what, like 2 point
yep,
something percent?
yeah,
But for
over last year. 2.9, it's right here in the last,
2.09.
yeah, 2.09, proposed 2.09 increase over
Yeah.
last year, yep.
Over last year, which seems small, but you know, when I think back for the last 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years, if we keep going up even 2% or 3% every year, accumulatively that adds up to, 10% increase in your property taxes over 5 years, or sometimes even more. So even though it says 2.909, I would like to have people realize that it does add up over the years. So, and those that are on our fixed income, is one, person mentioned a couple weeks ago, got their Medicare, the Social Security went up a little bit, but then by the time their Medicare went up, they barely broke even. And we have some people that are barely breaking even now. So I just want to make sure people keep that in mind, that every time it goes up, even just a little bit, those that have come to the select board and have come into the office and complain when they get their water bill and tax bill, they just have no place else where they can cut.
Mhm.
That's what they have is what they have. So,
I think the good thing that we did see is what we had promoted, which was when we did the townwide reappraisal, we're obviously getting a lot more per dollar than we were before, which
Mhm.
is a good thing. So doing the townwide reappraisal helped, definitely helped kind of balance out the grand list like we'd hoped. There were some people that were not paying enough and some people were paying too much, so. But I don't know if anyone has any edits, suggestions, is there? Dave, what did you think? I gave it to you a
I-
couple days in
Yeah,
advance.
I read it once and I liked it, so I waited and read it again another day just to make sure. And I have no problem with it, but with what you're saying, I don't know what the answer is, but I think
Mm.
we are probably one of the more fiscal responsible towns in the state.
Yeah,
So we're doing everything we can.
yeah,
I personally, I think because of my personal things that I would like to see done, we aren't going up we are not increasing it, no.
yeah, yeah.
But
It's hard to find the balance, right? I mean,
it's a
it's,
tough one, but
it is, and we do try
it's
to.
easier to see the balance when you're on social security yourself,
Yes, that's very true.
because you get to see how those numbers work.
So the other thing I wrote was the year in review, which used to be, when I came, the town manager had a report, and then the select board had a report. But now, but now they merged them together, so, or Chris Jarvis, he's
Yeah.
like, well, I don't know why why don't you just write one for both of us? I'm like, yeah, why don't I? So now we do a year in review, and so I don't know if I've missed anything. I try to make a list of some things, so I don't know what you thought about the year in review. Did we miss anything, Dave, or?
Do you have anything, Danny?
Oh,
Wanted to, I just came from training at the law school on voluntary income tax assistance. I'm doing that this year. And it would be a response would be, have you filed your taxes? Have you filed for any refunds, rebates, or credits that may be available to you? So
yeah,
it's worthwhile at least mentioning that does exist for people who are.
yeah.
And I do believe when people call, Teresa
Yeah.
definitely talks to people, because if you make under so much, you don't have to file taxes, and if you don't file taxes, you don't do the homestead.
And that's the thing that gets us.
And-
Yeah,
and
so
that's-
but we do say that and try to talk to people about that.
Maybe that would be add right in the town report somewhere as an informational box.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah, that's a
You
good
know,
idea, because yeah,
Nobody gets this year, right, because of reappraisal?
no, they still get it. They just, maybe it'll be a
It's
lesser
a little
amount.
different.
Yeah, but no, everybody still gets they still got one. But yeah, that's the problem, is when you have people that don't have to file their income tax, then they don't file their HS 122. So we do that, and we get notified, when we print the tax bill, we know who has not filed their HS 122. So we also try to do some outreach from inside, because we can see the list. So we'll call or we'll mail forms to people and say, hey, you know what, you need to get this filed, or if you need help, come in, we'll help you, or fill it out, bring it back, we'll mail it for you, whatever it takes to try to help. But when you're gonna do that, let us know. We can put that on our website too, and on the calendar, when there's gonna be tax, if you know people that are you saying that you're helping seniors do
I'm gonna
taxes?
I'm gonna be volunteering down there in tax returns, so.
Yeah, let us know, because I can, call or email Alice, and we'll put it right on the community calendar for sure. But yeah, it is helpful. So, so the year in review, I don't know if I missed anything.
I'm curious, Jordan, you want to include something about our partnership with the sheriff's department and what we've accomplished there.
Oh, that's a good one.
Sorry, I do.
Mhm.
Yep, sure.
That's a good one. Yeah, do you want us to I can put a paragraph or some sentencing in here in the year in review? That's a good, yeah, I totally missed it. Good. See, it's why I have people read this stuff. To talk about our relationship with the Windsor County Sheriff's Department. I mean, we could just, it's ongoing, and I could draft some sentences and have you look at it.
Sure. Put something in there.
Yeah.
I don't know how detailed we both provide, but might be worth doing a little bit of a victory lap.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Thank you. I know I try to make a little scratch list of things, to try to think of them. But that's a good one. Windsor County Sheriff, so we'll add that to year in review. Perfect, excellent, thank you. The whole one about sand, this is like our fourth winter, it's probably the fourth time I've put it in there, but it's still just repetitive. And too, I like to put in the reminder that, people need to manage their own runoff. Keep their own driveway crowned, their culverts open, their ditches clear of debris and that sort of thing, so. This makes me feel good, keep saying it.
I am curious, I'm gonna go through my own credit, but,
Well, you're on
You're-
the state highway, they.
I don't even have a culvert.
Yeah, they,
But,
yeah, I don't know, I don't know how the state does it, cause you're on state highway.
right, okay.
Yeah.
But what if you were on a town road, you just call property people to come and help you with that?
Yeah.
Not
Yep.
everyone's get down on their hands.
Yeah,
and knees, so
right, exactly. And
that's all right.
sometimes too, if the town is ditching, we can, if they're ditching on the road, they'll ditch near the
All
end.
you gotta do is keep the outlet clean.
That's right,
Yeah.
Take care of it.
yeah. So,
Hand shovel.
But if you call like a landscaper or excavation, either one of those two would probably take care of it for you.
Yeah, and if someone called the office, we'd give them a list of names, and go to call, so, yeah.
Update. I guess, the point of my question is, do you want to,
Sure.
something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Not that they should call you for it, just.
No,
It's all good.
yeah, exactly. I can just say, if you need assistance, call local excavation contractor. Then they can, because they know they're going to do it, so it's a good
Maybe
idea.
that's conversation with people.
Oh, you know what?
50 years ago it was.
Maybe, but that'd be,
I'm serious,
Yeah.
because the people were here, they lived on the hill, they knew these things. People had moved here, moved up on Christian Hill, and they came from New York City. They have no idea what a road is and how to keep it up. And that, I'm not blaming anybody or anything, but that's a fact.
That's my intention, right? How to help people figure out.
yeah, exactly. No, that makes sense. Sorry, so then I'll add something about the Windsor County Sheriff, and I'll add in that sentence, and then it just goes in the town report. We don't do anything with it at town meeting. We just assume people who read it when they read the town report.
All right. Well done with your in review.
Yep.
All right, and now we have Ellen Noble's letter of resignation from the revolving loan fund. I'll just read it. To whom it may concern, please accept my resignation from the revolving loan committee effective January 1st, 2026. I am caregiver with my sister for our brother. Our challenges are increasing with time, and I do not feel I have the energy to continue filling the position. Thank you for the opportunity. It's been a valuable learning experience, Ellen Noble. And I'd just like to accept this with gratitude and thanks for all the work that Ellen has done with this position.
I don't know.
You know, you said accept with thanks.
Sounds like.
Yep.
Motion to accept
Second.
her resignation with thanks.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Do we
Okay.
need to appoint anyone as the replacement, or-
No, not yet. We'll see if somebody steps up. If they're interested, then you will.
Okay.
But so far, but we'll see. We just found out, so. And honestly, they haven't done anything in a while, so. Or they haven't had to, but always a good group.
All right, and we got a letter from Amber Barnard, 643 North Main Street. That's a water and sewer commissioners. Her house was hit by a vehicle and it is inhabitable at this point. And let's see.
So she told me that, yeah, whoever hit her house, so she doesn't have great insurance. So her insurance is taking over, and that they're staying at a friend's Airbnb, and that their insurance company has told them that they can't live there. And they have to make some decisions about what they're gonna do with the foundation, what are they doing with the house, whatever. But, so that's what she told me when she came in the office. So, and this is as what you're also, now you'd be water sewer commissioners. And, in the past, you have had people come in and you've given them like 1/4, like a break for the quarter, just so that they can either fix the place up or do work. And sometimes you've extended that for 6 months, but I don't know any more details unless she came in, but don't you know more details, Jordan?
Yeah, I've been there.
That's what I thought.
We're going back this Friday, to look again to see if it's something that they want to rebuild or get rid of.
Yeah, it's kind of what she said. She's like, we're just really overwhelmed right now. She said, we don't know what we're gonna do. So it's, possible, the water is off, so there's no one there and the water's off. So it is possible for you to give them like a quarter or a 3-month break while they sort it out. And then,
Well, Didn't we give that to the folks right up here for, didn't we?
You did, yeah.
We gave him 2 quarters.
We did, and we've done it for, but I think we did like a quarter and then they came back in to touch base and then you did another quarter. We've done it for Mr. Redden too, Patrick Redden, and we've done it a couple
Like
times.
we do with, well, Stacy owned the house and he sold it to Key.
Uh-huh, yep, we did it there too. So, you know, we've done it a couple times.
We're not doing anything we haven't.
No,
Right.
nope, definitely not.
I'd say nothing's gonna happen within 3 months.
Yeah.
So
Well, do you think they'll make a decision within 3 months? Yeah, I think that was kind of,
they'll make a decision and, I mean, they have to make a decision within like a few weeks,
yeah,
but
They can always, you know, if it comes down to, yeah, we're going to rebuild it or we're going to build new. And the contractor can't get there, well, we could always come back and ask for another fee.
absolutely. Yeah, we've done that before, just kind
I
of
don't-
keep them
I
in
think
communication
one
with us.
quarter at a Time is what we should do.
Yeah, makes sense, Steve.
motion to approve a quarter off the water and sewer for 643 North Main Street.
Any more discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, annual adoption of the certificate of highway mileage.
Well, it just is what it is. I mean, we haven't made any changes this year. The state made one, but that was them remeasuring, so. But we have not made any changes this year. We will next year, hopefully throw up some properties, but currently this is our mileage and, it just requires, adoption or approval and, whatever I wrote. Yeah, motion to adopt the annual certificate of highway mileage and, then you can sign at the bottom.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed?
So. Wherever. Yeah, I think there's a bunch of lines there, so you got plenty of room.
All right, next on the agenda is removal of parking on Main Street from 196 Main Street to 264 Main Street on the east side only. We have updated the map.
Yeah, so we got got more information from Du Bois and King, who is doing this for the state of Vermont. So we're not paying for the engineering, they're doing that. So I had talked to Chris Lathrop, who's the engineer at Du Bois and King doing this, and asked him, how many parking spots do we currently have on Main Street? And he kind of chuckled because he said, well, it's not easy because there's no legal parking. So what he did was he came to 27, that he thinks there's 27 quote unquote existing parking locations between 196 Main and 264. So basically between Richardson's and Haskell. He basically figured out, you know, where we just painted the white line, that if it was like 6 feet in there. So by using this current map, we could have 14 legal spots that they would do. And obviously, the state is saying to us that they would like us to choose something that adheres to MUTCD standards. So municipal uniform traffic included again in your packet when we did the grant, the Bethel for All that lasted 18 months, and we did a bunch of events and getting people's opinion to come to different events. We did some at the town hall and different places. It does talk about no dual sided on-street parking. So this drawing, and I tried to write in the notes so people could figure out where we were, that this is what it would do. It would move, they would adjust the center line so that the center line would move out to more where it should be. There would be legal 8-foot marked parking spaces. And then it may leave in some areas like 2 or 3 feet on the other side of the road. So it just won't be so congested when people come through town. But in the end, my opinion is that you need to choose an option that adheres to the MUTCD standards, because if you don't and something happens, I think that you're leaving yourself open for a lawsuit, because you will publicly choose not to adhere, to the uniform standards. So, you know, we've tried one on one side of the street. Obviously, people were opposed to that. And then we tried putting some spaces in front of the laundromat instead of just a drop zone there. So this drawing seems like a good balance of, you know, some on both sides, obviously the municipal parking areas, you know, walking distance. And, you know, this is not the first time this topic has been discussed. I mean, it was a big topic of the, you know, the 18 months of the Bethel for All, so.
I have a few questions.
Sure.
On the other side of the street, or in front of Central Market, they've got no parking listed,
Right.
and that's where it's even white.
I know.
Why not?
Yeah. Are you asking me why not? I don't know.
Number two,
Because in front of, wait, hang on, I have my bearing.
mean just the one spot in front of?
in front of the
They have it
house.
listed as one spot.
They have it listed as one spot. That's right. And I think it has something to do with because of, see how they know, they talk about Avon Drive. And it says, we may need to determine if Avon Drive can be considered a driveway. So parking stalls can be installed adjacent to the intersection. So I think that's one of the reasons.
Okay, that's on the northbound side,
Yeah,
but why is there not more than one spot on the southbound side?
It's adjacent to the road. They're saying that there's something stopping them legally from putting a spot across from that road.
yeah. So they're showing you that
Really?
there's one there across and then one. And also too, don't forget, you're not supposed to be within 15 feet of a crosswalk. So that was where the hatch marks are. You can see where they cross that off.
So you're saying that Livery Stable
Is down
is
further.
is a driveway, but Avon Drive is a major highway?
No, I'm not saying either one is a driveway. I'm just telling you what the note says up here.
Okay,
Maybe,
they've got the Livery Stable, I don't know what it is, set off as 20 feet, and they got, Avon Drive set off as 30 feet.
okay.
I mean, I don't know those numbers. but
I
it's-
was gonna say, it doesn't look like that. Avon Drive, they're thinking it's just a driveway. But there's more than 2 residences there. So I don't think that they're going to be able to call it a driveway. So I don't think that they will be able to install parking adjacent to that intersection because there's more houses up there than apparently they realize. And Livery Stable, it doesn't say how wide it is. It just shows parking, you know, on the other side, and there's 2 spots in front of the telephone company and,
Okay, but I'm just looking at it,
oh, the way that they have it
Because,
laid out.
I
is
mean,
fine.
they got the hash mark coming
Yeah.
to the sidewalk, and then there's an open space.
Mhm.
Same on the other side of Avon. I think they missed something there.
Okay, I can ask him about it. I can talk to Chris
And then
later about it.
I don't know how you're gonna convince me that you can't have more parking in front of Central Market.
I can ask. I mean, it's not up to
That's
me.
huge wide there.
Yeah, it is wider.
Since you can do, I think, at least 3, if not 4.
Yeah. And they could be full-size trucks,
Yeah,
Yeah, and you can open your door.
and you can open your door without,
yeah.
you should
So-
be able to open your door without getting hit.
Yeah, so you're across from Central Market. Yeah, so let me ask him about that. I have no problem doing that.
Because you go from 27 to 14, that's a lot.
It is a lot. And, but we can ask him about that.
Now, they're
And-
going to talk to us about down here on the second map where there are no parking spaces at this time, where is that wide enough to put some more parking?
Where,
Well, that's option 1. That's only parking on the other side.
where are you talking about?
Oh, I don't
Right.
know. I'm on page 2 of 2.
Okay, yep. Are you by the municipal parking lot where it says
Yep.
owned by Bethel Mills? So yeah, they're not putting any parking in front of the municipal parking lot. It's all across the street in front of Bethel Mills where it is now.
It's not wide enough there to have.
Not after they adjust, not once they adjust the center line. And remember, that's a wide sidewalk too, right there in front of the municipal parking lot. But he's adjusted the center line. So I think that's part of the reason.
So if this was the scale, that center line is a lot farther off
Yeah, well.
than it is when we get up here where we're concerned.
Well, and remember, Dave, that in some areas where there was only maybe 6 feet where people were parking, so we need an additional 2 feet to create the 8-foot, the legal parking area. So we're already sucking up 2 more feet, you know, and there's just not a lot of, you know, area between the 2
I'm just,
spaces, but.
to be honest with you, I'm concerned that this will look great,
Mhm,
whether people will comply or not.
yeah.
I'm a little skeptical.
This is to scale.
Yeah,
So.
but the other thing too is, I mean, let's be real, it's paint. You know, they're gonna adjust the center line, they're gonna put in the parking areas, eventually it's gonna fade, but you can see how it's gonna work. And, you know, it's change, right? Everybody hates change, but it's funny because it's the one constant, there's always change. So, I think that there's a lot of, we should just do it this way because we've always done it this way, instead of, you know, I know that people are concerned about speeding. Now, I would think the concern would be if you had a young child getting out of a car and mom and dad didn't see him. I mean, you open the door and there's a vehicle coming. And, so anyway, so this is obviously presented to us because the state's gonna pave and remark Main Street. And, it obviously would increase pedestrian safety, it's gonna increase visibility. They'd update signage, they'd update truncated domes, which are the raised pads you feel when you cross for, you know, for.
Now, did I read somewhere in the literature that we are not liable for anything that goes on even now? You know, if there's an accident down here and the road does not comply to that, your standards,
Right.
no one can sue us because our road is too narrow.
I don't you know, I'm not sure. I haven't said that. No, what I gave you was the state law regarding parking. But because Bethel has always been this way, I mean, you have sovereign immunity, but whether or not, you know, when someone takes you to court or not, whatever happens about that, I don't know. But forward, now that we have publicly discussed repeatedly what our options are and what the standards are, I think that moving forward, if you said, we're just gonna leave it alone and we're gonna remark it the same and just draw a straight line and let it be, I would think that you might have some culpability down the road because you're choosing not to adhere to the standard.
Because we did an extensive study, then advised that this is completely wrong,
Yeah.
illegal.
Yeah, that.
And then we
was
said-
Done years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and
I
it,
think it's brought to our attention, it's brought to everyone's attention.
Oh. I mean, yeah, you also paid for a study. That whole thing took 18 months. They asked a lot of people about it and, I was on that steering committee, had a lot of events, and, that was one of the recommendations that's in your packet that came out of the study. So, but like I said, it's also paint, so it's not gonna last forever. You could try it for a while, see what happens and, you know, from there, but.
Are we looked at or are we concerned at all about enforcement about the laundromat drop off?
Well, this doesn't do that. This puts actual parking in front of the laundromat now. Because that was an issue. People didn't think that the drop zone would be fair or that it would work. So there's 2 spots now in front of the laundry.
So they moved the center line farther to the other side. Yeah. Towards Cockadoo.
Move the center line towards Cockadoodle so there's no spices in front of the laundry.
Okay,
Is that what you're saying?
yeah, I mean, that's,
I mean,
they
it's-
could do that.
And it's the only way. I mean, really, you're kind of,
Yeah.
you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're either putting you're either taking it all off from one side or you're gonna try to, you know, you're gonna offset your parking. I mean, there's only so much space here to work with between the buildings and it's just the way that Bethel was designed. It's just narrow. You know, if it'd been this way years ago, people wouldn't think twice about it. Sure.
So that I did have that.
Jen, you wanna,
Parking in Mountain Front.
you wanna just give your name
Oh,
so that
right.
people can, for the record?
Yes, I could get up there. Oh,
I think I can bring it over to you, can I? It doesn't, all right. Sorry.
So here's.
So, because I'm, you know, I hear this stuff through the grapevine, I don't typically come to these meetings. I've heard now that they're gonna take away the parking in front of Cockadoodle. And I'm just saying, ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
I do not see, who's enforcing that?
Yep,
Ain't gonna happen.
right.
I can't get people and frankly, I mean, they're all just gonna park at Babes, which is gonna affect Babes.
Yep.
I mean, I'm kind of not really worried about it. I think they're still gonna park there. So is what we're really talking about is just putting the lines there because that's what we're supposed to do. And everyone's just gonna do what they want anyway.
Well, chances are, isn't that what
So,
happens
right,
anyway?
right. So I mean, that's what
Yeah,
I'm like, how
but there-
worried do I have to be here about me losing customers?
There will be enforcement, obviously. I mean, we do have a relationship and a contract with the sheriff's office, but,
Well, the most dangerous thing actually is the most dangerous thing that actually happens on that main street, because I actually see it all the time, is the people that come in and park opposite from when they're getting all their stuff at the laundromat. They park the opposite way
yeah,
and then have to cross over both ways.
yeah, and that's,
That is like, and and the sheriff has never ticketed anybody once for parking the wrong way.
yeah, that's something we could talk about, because yeah, that's a state law that you can't.
Well, I mean, you see them, people get killed
Yeah.
like once a week.
Yeah,
know,
it's crazy, isn't it? Well, it's something I'll mention to them, but thank you for mentioning that, because you're right, that is completely illegal. They're not supposed to be doing that at all.
Yeah,
So,
some of those apartment houses up the street
yeah,
past the town office, when I used to go to work early in the morning, they were always parked the wrong direction, and I'd pass back and forth with state troopers, and I'd be like,
yeah, yeah.
crossing the center line to park.
So, yeah, so I can talk to Chris Lathrop again about Dave, about the concern about, how it's gonna work, and to see if he has another option that he'd recommend. And obviously there's gonna be signage, they're updating the signage as
I'm
well.
not trying to be,
You're not,
trying to cover the bases.
yeah, no, I can completely understand. No,
It's just,
makes sense.
I think, I think it's gonna be interesting.
It is gonna be interesting, and nobody's gonna be happy. I mean, when was the last time that happened? I mean,
Have we talked to, last Elmore about, getting some spots back in there?
they have a deed for 10 spaces, so the
Doesn't
only,
mean we can't talk.
no, I
And
know,
they've
but
got two spaces that they don't have marked.
Yeah.
Because there's Dave from the sandwich shop and whoever works there parks in two spots close to the Mascoma where they don't even have some.
yeah. So the thought was maybe instead of, obviously not asking them to give them up, but it was to put a sign on them, at least to say that during bank hours and after bank hours that they're free for parking. I think people do that anyways, but at least asking, to put some signage there, so. And Joanne had a question.
Yeah,
too.
and Owen's had his hand up for a bit. Owen?
Hi, everybody. I was just wondering, do we have a parking ordinance downtown? So in other words, like is there something that the sheriff would be enforcing?
We have a traffic ordinance, yes, and it does talk about parking. Yep.
Does? Okay,
Yep.
so they can give people like ticket, is it a fine or what is it?
Well, yeah, it would be a civil fine. Yeah, it'd be a fine. I can't quote off the top of my head. It's on the website. But yeah, there is a traffic ordinance. Like we can tow cars right now because it says on them, no parking from here, this time to this time because of the winter parking ban. I mean, we always try to call people and get them to move their cars but we can't. But yeah, it's on the website.
Okay,
All right.
I've never known somebody to get a parking ticket. Does that
Probably
happen
not.
often?
No, I mean, I'm sure it's rare. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
something that, especially too, well, frankly, I don't know what they could have done before because we didn't have any legal parking. So I think it might have been, maybe they just kept their head down and drove through.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll definitely be interesting. I think what Jen said is right, that, I mean, people already park in our lot out of
Yeah.
convenience to go to Cockadoodle, and we have a very symbiotic relationship with Cockadoodle, so that's not an issue for us, but we also want to make sure there's parking for our customers. And, there's sometimes, as I'm sure you all know, like late at night, if we're having a big event, it's really hard to find parking in town already. And so, we've had some complaints with people saying that people are parking in their personal lots or, and so we want to be good neighbors, and also we're protective of our space, our parking lot as well. So.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And one of the things I would encourage people, you guys walk, but I mean, I would encourage people that own businesses not to park in front of their own business either, to free up that parking for their customers. we do see that. You guys walk, but I'm just saying, you know, in general, that people can use the municipal parking lot too, so.
Yeah. Did you,
Um,
I know that there had been a couple weeks ago a question about whether we could free up some more spots from Mascoma. Did that, what happened? with that?
Right. What we're talking about, they actually have a deed that gives them 10 spaces. So what we're talking about is not necessarily asking them to give up any spaces, but to change their signage so that it, you know, after bank hours that they're open. I mean, I think people probably park there anyways, Owen, but to at least better the signage so people would know that the bank hours and after that, that they can feel free to park there.
Okay, well, I guess, I mean, yeah, I echo the concerns. I know there isn't a great solution either way.
No,
But
I-
it does
you're-
sound like the updated map, it addresses the concerns that have been raised, so I think that's good. It is a little bit like Mario Kart maybe of like weaving back and forth, but
Yeah, I think you're right. There's no
Yeah.
perfect solution just because we don't have the legal width to do, you know, to do 16 feet of parking and 2 11-foot lanes. We just, that's nobody's fault. We just don't have the legal space to do it. Just because the way Bethel was, you know, originally laid out and built.
Right. yeah.
Yes, as Dave says, it was plenty wide enough for horse and buggy, Dave said.
Right. All right, well, thank you all.
I'd say the
Thanks so much.
parking enforcement is probably not gonna be 100% because
Yeah, it'll be warning.
38, I'm saying it might not get noticed a lot. I mean, how are you gonna be on Camp Brook Road running speeding? And down in town running parking tickets and out on the back roads checking on everyone
Exactly.
and doing this with,
See the yellow lane, yellow line. You're not gonna park, you're not gonna pull over and park
halfway through one.
right there, right?
I'm
I'd
not.
like to think. I would.
Yeah, no, I would like to think. Yeah, I would like to think not. I mean, there's gonna be signage and they'll be legally marked and there'll be hash marks, fresh pavement, fresh paint, you know.
Something like no parking this side from point A to point B or something.
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, they have the whole, that's the great thing about the state coming through and doing this. They'll make sure that the, you know, signage is up to date. Joanne's been very.
Yes.
Mhm.
One thing about Mascoma, if they have 10 deeded spaces, would there be any harm in asking them if they would relinquish, you know, 2 or 4 of them on a long-term basis? The idea about having the parking after business hours is a great idea to allow parking in their spaces when they're closed, but they're still taking up 10 spaces during business hours for businesses downtown. And maybe as being a good neighbor, they might.
But they've
And
already
so
given up
would there
2
be any harm
spaces,
in
correct?
Just asking them if they would revisit what was
No, they
deeded to them
No.
years ago.
Yeah, doesn't
The-
hurt.
The other thing that,
We'll just say is no,
yeah,
right?
well, they say no, they say no.
Exactly.
It's the truth.
Where-
The
Do
thing that I'm concerned about, aside from everything, but is the speeding. I really
Yeah.
think that people are just gonna, you know, it's gonna be Bethel Wild West again, and people are gonna go zooming through there.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I think enforcement of what I would assume it would be 25 miles per hour. Is that what the mileage
Yeah,
would be?
that's what it is now.
That I would like to see, I would like to hear like a commitment to, when this change happens, to really kind of enforcing that's important. A 25-mile-per-hour speed limit and having people obey the speed limit
Mhm.
is an important thing for safety, for quality of life. The people who run the businesses downtown talk, I hear constantly about trucks and everybody zooming through and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna make this change, I think it's important to educate, get people to understand what's happening. I've seen so little like in the media about this proposed change that's gonna have an enormous impact.
Mm. That's
on-
interesting.
on
I mean, I did an interview with the Herald, obviously, we've been out and advertising, it's on our website. And so part of the thing that's gonna go along with this is, Jordan, did we go to 36 or 38 hours is what is proposed for policing in the budget right now. So there's 38 hours. So, you know, that will be one of their duties but, you know, I think Jordan is right. There's, you know, we have 81 miles of road, 68 miles we maintain.
Oh, and I certainly understand there's so many competing interests.
Yeah.
So many competing problems. I
Yeah.
understand that, but when it first kind of goes into effect,
Sure.
that's the time to try to change people's habits.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how they drive. And I think the flashing lights for pedestrians at either end are gonna help, but those are only flashing when somebody's crossing. And other
Yep.
than that, you
The
know,
other thing is too, we currently have 2 speed signs on Sand Hill. And one of those is gonna be relocated. So when you come down Church Street, because people seem to like to pick up steam, Church Street headed toward town, there is gonna be another flashing sign there.
and I think, I think those speed signs, they help people like me. I came down
They do.
Sand Hill when I was going 27 and I slowed down to 25.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily stop the folks that are, pushing the limit. As you
Right.
said to me once,
Yeah.
when I talked about putting one of those signs up in Lilyville, when
Yeah.
you're having a problem with speeding. Some people view those signs as like, let's see how fast we can go.
Yeah.
And I think that could be.
Yeah. And that's
Or-
why we shut them off so that they only flash to a certain point because of that. We like to deter that. So, I mean, part of it is going to be education, part of it's common sense, part of it is the fact that, obviously there, people driving. I do think there's a misperception at times about people, whether or not people are speeding. We are standing still and we assume that, if somebody's going by us, sometimes may seem like it's maybe necessarily faster than it is, but certainly, this was not something that the select board or I went after. This came out as part of the Bethel for All grant after, 18 months of engagement with the community. And then the state approached us because they repave and they're the ones who line and mark everything. And then we were getting ready, actually, I was writing a grant with Two Rivers about replacing truncated domes and doing some other issues to make it more handicap accessible for pedestrians. And the state was like, oh, well, we're gonna take care of all that when we come through. And then they talked to us and said, hey, look, you know what, you guys have got to do something about your downtown. And that's how we started working with the Du Bois and King and about, our options are. It may turn out to be one of those things that, I don't know, isn't a good compromise when everybody's unhappy, because, I just don't know. I don't know if there's gonna be a perfect answer here because we don't have the space. There's nothing that's gonna change that, so, I don't know, but I'm happy to talk to Chris Lathrop again and get some more ideas and I'll talk to him about livery stable, Avon, and then especially like you were saying, in front of a couple areas, a couple of businesses, seeing if we can.
So I'm gonna pick on the property across from where, Merrill was. That seems to be, that's on the curve.
Yeah.
That's gonna be most affected. What about those big brown orange barrels they have everywhere? For them in that spot, so we can't park.
You mean moving forward? You mean as,
When this is relined
yeah,
and no parking, let's make it no parking.
oh, I see what you're saying, yeah,
Well,
sure.
that point, it's part of the road.
No, those barrels are only 3 feet. We've got 6-foot lane over there.
Well, it's not gonna be.
Well,
Oh, I see what you're saying, Dave. You're saying the part that's striped that has no parking on it, that to make sure that people don't park there. I got you. Yep. I see what you're saying. Okay. Yep.
The state thinks we need to change this because it's a mess. Okay.
It's
Yeah,
illegal.
Because we did the study and they think this will make it more accessible.
It's illegal right now. The amount of room in the roadway per vehicle, it's not up to code.
whatever that.
Now, did I hear that was like grandfathered in now? And it's not, there's no ordinance, right?
It's state law,
It's
basically, is that your lanes need to be 11 feet wide and your parking needs to be 8 feet. Legal parking spaces are 8 feet and lane width is 11. And we just, sidewalk to sidewalk, there's not enough room in there to have 8 feet on both sides plus 11-foot lanes, just not enough room there. So,
It would be nice if you could look too to keep parking in front of Cockadoodle,
right,
because the business is open.
Yeah.
Richardson's,
isn't,
there's nothing happening
right,
there.
exactly. And it would
So,
more, I think we looked at it because of laundromat. They weren't,
definitely.
they weren't thrilled about the drop zone and they, well, like, then that's what we were saying. So it's like, okay, if you do it on one side, you can't necessarily do it across the street. So that's all. We're just trying to figure it out, but I'm certainly gonna talk to him again so I can ask him about it and sure.
And people really aren't gonna be parking in front
Yeah.
of Cockadoodle.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing is too, is that, and I remember when we did this part of the study for it was Du Bois and King who actually did that study several years ago. And, I remember talking to them saying, people lie. How are you doing this? They are not gonna walk, and so they were asking them pointed questions. How far would you walk to maybe pick up your pizza? Or how far would you walk to do this or that? I'm like, because we were talking about this back then was removing, it obviously was part of the study, removing one side of paving. And I'm like, well, are people just gonna keep going around until there's a parking spot? Or are they actually gonna
Stop,
walk
drop and roll.
like they say they're gonna? So, I don't know.
And I
But-
believe that's one reason why, when it got repaved after the last water project, that they did not,
But we just
Mark,
did trench patch.
they didn't mark
Okay.
the parking.
Yeah.
Was because they said it's illegal. They didn't want to put that on there because they knew it was illegal. But people like, well, why aren't there any lines? Well, because they know it's illegal and they won't do it. 'Cause
Yeah.
then the lining striping company would be responsible for going.
So, I believe I'm reading this drawing correctly now that I'm looking at it. hard.
Probably. All right,
I'm-
you're on page,
It's on page 1.
okay,
I'm looking just south of the telephone pole beside
yep.
Cockadoodle. And that, the arrows, the way they're designated, it looks like it has a 4-foot and then an 11-foot and then an 11-foot and then an 8-foot. So that's saying that's only 44 feet.
Yep.
Across there.
Yes,
So, but now it looks like there is sidewalk and some extra space there. What's that dotted line? I can't find anything to tell me what that dotted line is.
let's see, oh wait, let me see, over here, existing, it just says,
Existing.
the sign legend just says existing. So you can see like the little X's where I highlighted for the fence at Babes. Then you can see where it's a light tie-in, there's a combo, and then it's paved right there, that's the entrance into Babes. And then further down is obviously the laundry has a couple spots, and then right across from that with Cockadoodle, it's not showing, yeah, it shows no spaces, but like I said, let me talk to him and see. My guess is what he's gonna say is one side or the other gets parking, but not both.
Hmm.
Because, like I said, no. Yeah. Yeah, because you're looking for, 8 feet, so 16 feet in parking and then 22 feet in lanes. So that's the problem. But let me ask him about it, Dave. And we'll see.
There's quite a few spots leading up to here.
There is, I mean, if you look down by the Bethel Mills section, there's 7 spots right there. Then there's 5 more spots in front of Blossom Block Sandwich Shop, Arnold Block. So it's not like people can't park on that side of the road. And so that side has the majority of the parking spaces on it.
Which it
There's-
should, because
There's
it's
some
more
across,
businesses,
there's some in front of Richardson, so,
apartments.
so that makes it walkable to Babes or wherever, and then laundry. But let me just talk to him again and see. It's just kind of a work in progress.
And we've had this on the agenda for
A while now.
Wow.
a couple months and keep reworking the
Unfortunately-
plan to try to.
Unfortunately, we were gonna get bombarded when the new lines are down. It's like, what the hell did you do?
I know, but I did
Oh, somebody wanted.
we
to
did
a
do an
survey.
interview in the paper.
We have this decision.
Well, that's why I wanna know all I can know, so. when somebody
I don't
comes at
think
me,
so, because.
Say, don't yell at me.
There'd be a lot of maps in there.
Well, and if you took it to a vote, to town meeting, and they say no, it, you know,
It's like, keep it the way it is, or you put this.
Yeah, but.
yeah,
that-
but even if you do
You're
that, you're-
voting on whether the town's legally.
yeah,
I-
that's gonna be the trick.
It says the state can't hold it.
Right. No, they
No, it
can't.
just leaves you open,
But they can't, you're right. And you could stay, but
but they won't paint
But you'll
parking
take-
spaces.
you'll take the chance later, I think, down the road if somebody,
I just don't feel a strong conviction.
Yeah.
I don't know if-
Yeah.
how everyone else feels, and I'd rather, we're hearing from people who are coming in and talking about it.
Huh.
I wonder how everybody.
well, I think there are people out. I mean, I've heard from several people who like, I can't believe you waited this long to do it. You know, like you shouldn't, but those people aren't coming
I hear
here.
that at my house.
Yes. So I think the bigger deal is here, it's not, it's whether or not you get sued and whether or not, I'm not sure sovereign immunity is gonna cover you here because you will have made a decision not to follow standards. So I think, I just think that's what's gonna get you.
And is there a part of this that change is scary, but it could be like really nice downtown to
Yeah.
have a little space and be able to see the crosswalk so people aren't popping out in front of the car and having those lights up, and it could be really nice.
Yeah,
Is there any
I
way,
agree.
like, partway across, I'm not even sure where it could bring it to, put a light going across the road with a flashing.
Have you been talking to Mr. Geico?
No, no.
It's not for Geico's
Put
plan.
these flashing yellow light, like right in the middle of
That's
the
peaceful.
street, not on the side, just like right there and.
No,
With
when
a-
I talked to
with a
V-Trans,
laser beam?
they said
that's
they
big
don't
enough.
do that anymore, that's really
14.6 minimum.
not a thing that they do
That's
anymore.
the bottom.
But that's funny.
Okay.
That's Mr. Speed bumps, yeah. We also could,
You got the easements because all the buildings on both sides where you would attach this thing.
yeah.
Are all owned
It
by.
could be a
private.
pole.
And you
Yeah.
also have,
Yeah.
we did put out the, speed, the bulb out thing, sorry. Remember, people hated them at first. Oh, well, remember that? They drive right over those things with the flower buckets. And so finally we put one at Spalding Press and one up near the intersection coming down to kind of narrow the lane so that when you came down Church Street, and those were successful. Nobody drove over them on the regular, tried to trash them. So that could be another option
Yeah.
is to say, during spring, summer, we had 4, so I'd have to ask. I remember they drilled the holes into the ground. I'd have to ask AJ, the road foreman, about it, but so there's options, that may be another option, but I'm actually with Jordan here. I think that it could look really nice and just not so congested. Yeah, but let me talk to Chris
And
about
that
it
would
again.
happen to what, 27, 28?
27,
Road for sidewalk?
20,
You
say-
said there's 4 feet.
Well, that's the sidewalk. That 4 feet is the sidewalk.
The 4 feet,
is the sidewalk, yeah.
Right, and if you can't park there.
no, can we take more the sidewalk then?
No.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
because we'll take more of the sidewalk.
No, yeah, if we don't have,
We don't
if
have
we don't
parking.
have parking in front, can we move the sidewalk larger?
I don't think there's enough room to have anything but 2 lanes and 1 legal parking spot.
Yeah. I don't
On
think,
one side.
yeah.
There is-
I mean,
there is-
it's-
there is-
And I just wanna.
I thought you just did the math and you said there's another,
In
Well-
some,
But there's a, part of these, for lack of a better word, the rules are the sidewalks can't be like what we have over there on, Pleasant Street. 3-foot sidewalk, don't cut it any.
no, they're supposed to be, they're 4 is what we generally have. The new sidewalks going in will be 5 feet. That's what we try
So
to do
if
now.
anything, they want the sidewalk wider.
Yeah,
That's what he's saying.
Right, but you
Yeah.
can't park on the sidewalk.
Well, no, I'm saying, instead of parking, can we get,
Okay, now can we put tables?
Oh,
out front.
if
Yeah, and
if
then
that
the
area grows.
Town actually look better.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
So that truck that came this close to clipping your post when it hit the corner. of
Almost
the-
hit Sully, Like,
Yeah,
like,
That's our son.
Yeah.
we were upstairs and
yeah,
like,
crazy.
I don't know
So,
how it's that post.
So you
There's-
have to put a pole there, but,
Yeah,
you
so
know,
there is
Four
not
inches.
a sidewalk project for downtown at this moment in the future. But I do understand what you're saying because that is something that they talked about during Bethel for All.
But if
was-
it's painted off, there's no parking, there's no nothing there. There's, like in Montpelier, they did the flower boxes and expanded their area to that in the spring and summer and took that for the restaurant. So,
That's
you
what I
know,
did.
I think we'd have to look into it a
Mhm.
little, but
Yeah.
that would be,
But I think that the clutter of cars is ugly. However, you know, with all of the cars the way it is now, but I also hear what you're saying and that because I think when we take the cars away, the speeding problem is gonna be huge.
Mm.
And it's because I live right there
Yep,
and I see it all the time.
yeah,
And as soon as, and, you know, I like it when Dave's has their parties because no one drives fast on the road.
right, yeah.
Because it's filled with cars.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's a balance, right? I mean.
It's a forced
Yeah,
speed bump.
and you just don't know what's gonna happen, you know, we have people that come out of Babes and their side mirrors missing. And then, you know, we've had town trucks hit other trucks because, you know, just, so it's one of those things.
bigger,
Yeah, it is,
even how it
so,
looks is,
but I don't know,
if
but,
it's safe and
Yeah.
being able to cross the road there without.
but I'm so glad that you came in to talk about it, but it's just one of those things, but we're gonna get some more information. I'll talk to Chris
We
later
have
again and
time.
Voice and King.
Point to do
Yeah,
more and more and more.
With all the cars there.
okay,
That's what, you know,
You-
a mirror gets clipped, yeah, but everyone has to go slow enough that if someone did get hit, they're not dead.
yeah. Oh, there you go.
That's my point, but.
So I'm just gonna make a note for the planning commission that, more parties would be in order.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Have a QDP every 3 weeks.
Exactly. So, all right, so yeah, well, I'll talk to Chris Jacob about it and I'll talk to Mascoma and see what they have to say. I know, it's not an easy, thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Matt. There you go. Well, you still can make it up now. You still
All
can-
right, we're heading down the home stretch. All right, we have the town manager's report.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't have anything other than what we've already been talking about. So I think we're good.
Okay, the select board minutes from 12/22/25. Is there any edits or changes that need to be done?
Like to approve as written. Motion to approve as written.
And Ben seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right,
And then it looks like you have planning commission meeting minutes in here, fire department advisory board meetings. There's information from the sheriff's department in here. There is, December financials are in here. So
what kind of stuff?
I think that's it.
The only thing I saw that
That,
didn't really, no big deal really, but except for, I think Ryan sends us a different looking report every month.
Yes,
It doesn't look the same every month, so I have to take more time to look at it. Try to figure out what he's doing. Because like last month, we got the funds business now.
Right here.
yeah, but it doesn't say how much.
But
It's like.
I don't think it used to
Yeah.
say how much either.
I think it did.
Yeah.
Or
They
was-
said how much the fine was.
Well, the last month it did, but I don't remember it in before
Yeah,
that, but
'cause
maybe I
this-
Maybe we're not supposed to know, maybe that's a legality thing, I don't know.
No, last time it did say how much.
the ones he gave us last month, but these are good.
Yeah,
There's
we
still
got.
a lot of directed patrols at,
Doesn't,
Actual fines and the rest were warnings.
just sitting, doing traffic.
yeah. There's still a lot of directed patrols at my office.
Yes.
But
And it used to say speed
Yeah, it doesn't say it.
that they were going and then what speed area. it was.
Yeah.
you're right, yeah.
It's, well, yeah, it's kind of very.
Maybe
it's-
he's got somebody new doing his
be curious
them.
to,
Yeah, get
But,
the full spiel.
yeah, but yeah, maybe you just need to invite him to a meeting because seem to be a lot of, their same directed patrols, some of the same complaints that you've had before are still on here, but I mean, how many towns does he have now, Jordan? Any idea?
Just picked up Hartford because I see Hartford all the time.
14, right? Yeah,
He picked up Hartford?
16.
I thought they had a police department.
Well, a lot of the Facebook stuff is nabbing people in Hartford.
I don't know.
Should know, we started that meeting.
Yeah, no, I know he picked up quite a few, and not to say we're little, but we
Yeah.
are one of the smallest contracts he holds.
I'm
And,
sure that's
Yeah,
true.
well,
and for the amount, the smallest contract he holds, he shows us a lot of,
Yeah.
you know, we want this and we want that, and,
I called him the other day or texted him and he called me. He always calls right back and
yeah.
it was, I don't know, AJ had called, there was some activity going on at the garage and I had one of the guys, so I called him and he was great. I texted him and he called me right back and chatted about it and sent something over, so, but yeah, it would be nice if he just had some continuity with his reporting. But, I mean, I can call him and ask him about it if you want, or, cause has he had a change in office people? Or command people?
well, one of his.
Because
guys,
I
Actress,
emailed
got
Deputy
promotion.
Leonard the other day and he took care of something, but I don't know who's his second or third in command anymore.
Walters, I think, is.
Yeah, he just got a bump up. He had 15 hours on one
Walters?
day.
Waltrus?
Yes.
He had 15 hours one day, which was
Huh, all right, I don't know. So anyways,
4 in the afternoon till 7 in the morning.
so I think that covers your other communications.
So that's it?
I think so. 1, 2. That's it. I have to say, it's on here.
You have nothing
There's
else?
Motion to
Denise.
adjourn.
Sign this thing.
All in favor?
All right.
Opposed?